funny.
When it gets down to 5 minutes, it's at 11. Hello and welcome to the Happiness Jungle TV show. I am your guest host, CammieBaker.com, and I have two guests with me today. Smarketing, Smart and Marketing. That's a pretty smart marketing title. I have Tom and Susan. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourselves. Who would like to go first? Susan, ladies first.
Sure, definitely. So my name's Susan McKenney, and we started Smarketing Institute, which we changed to Smarketing Connect, because we're trying to connect local Boston sales and marketing professionals with local small businesses. And myself personally, I've been in sales way too long, too many years. I've sold everything except for cars.
Real estate too?
Yeah, one sale and I quit. A double-sided close is always a hard thing.
That's a beautiful thing, both sides of the commission.
Well, no, only if, yeah, it depends. You got to get everybody to agree on both sides. And that's, it's hard enough to get people in this day and age to agree on one side, never mind both sides. So I've done engineering software, I've done wholesale retail, I've done it all.
What about you, Tom? What's your background?
So I started in sales about a little over 20 years ago. Spent about 5 minutes as a sales rep and decided I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to manage. So I'm kidding. I was probably a sales rep about 3 or 4 years, and then got into sales management and kind of went up from there. I've worked for gigantic companies in the billions and small mom and pop companies. And sort of like Susan, I've sold a lot of different products and services. So becomes a very well-rounded view of sales, and it also kind of, our original company, I know we're here to talk about Smarketing Connect, but our original company that we still own and operate, Diversified Sales Solutions, it's kind of where the name came from. Diversified Sales Solutions came from the mix of opportunities that we've had in sales. So, but onto Smarketing Connect. But yeah, so we started Smarketing Connect just about a year ago or so, right? About a year ago or so. And we started it as Smarketing Institute, like Susan said, and we changed the name because we realized that Smarketing Institute lent itself for people to believe that we were some sort of educational organization, and we really weren't. We were really, like she said, also trying to basically take small businesses and connect them to resources. So hence the name changed to Smarketing Connect.
Well, you guys are perfect people to have this conversation with about the difference between sales and marketing and branding and marketing. And I've always found it so interesting that the way people say it is sales and marketing, like it's always in that order. But in essence, and I'd love to get your input, from my perspective, marketing is what you're doing so that the people that you want to do business with know that you're there. It's the art of being seen. It's the art of being able to be found by your perfect clients, hopefully. So really, we market before we can sell. We can't sell unless we've marketed. So I don't know why people say sales and marketing, but what's your perspective on that? Because it sounds like you got a lot of sales going on, but sales and marketing are two totally different things, yeah?
Yeah, I'll start just because so our experience with Diversified Sales Solutions, we went to visit clients, and we'd go and we'd talk to them, and I want a sales rep on the road. I'm going to put sales rep on the road, and this is what I want. And then they talk to us, and we're like, you're talking about marketing. You're not talking about sales, and that's not, if you want a salesperson on the road, you got to do some of this marketing first. But unfortunately, they didn't really listen, and so it's hard for them to even understand, because sales and marketing have changed so much over the last 10 or 15 years. I just heard this on the radio. Like, you used to be able to go to school and get a degree in marketing, and you could get a degree in just marketing. Now you go to school and you get a degree in digital marketing, you get a degree in social marketing, you get a degree in all the different various types of marketing, and sales not so much, but you can actually get a sales degree now. So sales and marketing are so married now and so confusing that I think people are now even become confused about it, because marketing can almost go to the beginning of sales and sales can almost go to the beginning of marketing, and so companies get confused. And every company is going to be different how they traverse along.
Well, you need one to have the other. There's no point in marketing if you can't sell.
Right.
And you can't sell unless people know you're in business and can find you. And even to take it another level, I've been listening to a lot of Grant Cardone lately. And marketing and sales are separate from closing.
Yes.
Closing the sale is a whole different art besides selling. And I have people all the time want to bring me in as a sales trainer, help people to sell. And I heard somebody say one time, and I'm stealing this, selling is what you have to do when your marketing sucks. Meaning, if you're marketing to the point where you're attracting your right client and you're creating credibility and authority in your marketing, then there's not any sales that are needed because they come to the table and they already want what you have. So you can kind of skip the selling and convincing and pushing and persuading or any of that stuff and just go right to the close. Just have a transaction.
Yeah,
Input?
I was going to say when you had mentioned it, so I have a lot of thoughts on this, by the way, because I get relatively frustrated when people use the term sales and marketing so fluidly that they think it's the same thing or they think it's the same. In the most kind of rudimentary way, I view it as marketing is educational and sales is transactional, right? So if you can differentiate it that way, it becomes a bit more clear whose role should be doing what, right? So if there's a drip campaign of education, meaning you're teaching them, you're getting them to understand what you do, that should be on marketing's lap. If it gets to the point where now they're looking at it going, okay, I think I want what you have, can you just explain the details to me so we can finish this deal? It should be on sales's lap. So again, marketing being educational, sales being transactional, but to Susan's point earlier, it is getting an awful lot more gray than it used to be. When we first got into sales, again, 20-something years ago, it's it was a bit more clear, right? Because there was a lot of typesetting and brochures, and there was not a lot of this multifaceted marketing that happens now. So today it's a little bit more gray. But to your point, and I couldn't agree with you more, that sales is really the close, right? So whether the close is an inevitability, if the close is an inevitability that your marketing did such a good job that it just becomes a handshake at the end of a conversation, fantastic. But that doesn't happen all the time either, because there are still, there's a lot of statistics out there, and you can read a bunch of different blogs and a bunch of different people about how, sales is not the same anymore because people, they're 80% there by the time a salesperson even gets contacted. They know what they want. They're already, that's not entirely true to that degree. Now what's happening is people have access to so much information that they have 25 different data points and they're not sure which one applies to them. So the salesperson now comes in and still has to educate them on what or why they're buying it. So they're making, salesperson now is making sure it's the right fit, because we certainly don't want to close anything that is going to come back to bite us. We don't want to sign somebody up for a subscription or get somebody to buy something and then 3 months later we're on their chopping block because they didn't like it or it wasn't the right fit. It's not satisfying their needs that they thought they had in place. So it behooves us to go back before we take those 2 steps forward. So salespeople are now starting to go, okay, you found us online, we're the right. They're still doing that education piece to make sure that we're fitting the right product or service to the
Pat,
I saw it too. I didn't think it had anything to do with the taping.
Couple minutes, maybe.
Sure.
because if I bend over, am I doing anything wrong?
No.
As long as I don't move my chair, right? Oh my god. I got it.
Got it?
I think I do. Oops. There we go.
They've never stopped the show. I went on a trip and I got some kind of sickness while I was flying, and I was having these coughing fits. I had a show, 2 people on the show. I started coughing, like one of those coughings where your eyes water and you're almost throwing up.
Yeah.
So I literally couldn't stop. So I left the set, and thank God I had 2 guests, so they just continued to chat.
Wow.
And so I came back. 2 minutes later, same thing happens. I have to leave the set. And they didn't even stop the show then.
My God.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah, but I'm going to be on your camera, so ask him the question again.
Oh, man.
Oh, the sales
You
one?
can respond.
That's okay.
So,
Okay. Go ahead.
so talk to me about the difference between sales and marketing.
So I guess I kind of go back to like the most foundational differences between the two are, marketing is educational and sales is transactional. So things like drip campaigns and things that you want, you think you found your perfect client, and now you're going to feed them information until they get to a point of action, call to action, things like that. So people are clicking on this and filling out forms and things of those particular natures. And then they get to the point where they're reaching out to you saying, I want to buy this. And then sales kind of takes over and says, let's kind of make sure we're in the right ballpark, because we want to make sure that it is really the right fit. Because one of the things that we've come to conclusion on is there's so much information out there now, and this idea that people are 80% of the way there before they even engage with a salesperson, I think that's a false narrative. I think what happens...
I think they're 80% confused now.
Yeah.
They have too much information, and you have to unsell
Right.
them for things that they are incorrect information.
Yeah, because now they have so much information, they're not sure which information is right or wrong, and sometimes they're not even sure which information is pertinent to them or not.
Well, I had a friend of mine tell me this is a fun distinction too. The 3 T's of a sale. There are people, salespeople that are on the take. There are those who want to have a transaction, and then there are those who want to create a transformation. Mm-hmm. And so when they're all confused, and then you get in front of a salesperson who just wants to have a transaction, they don't care if it's the
That's
right
right.
product.
Right.
That's
So
right.
what you're saying is, if I may be so bold, that you and your company and your people are helping the company, the sales force, figure out, is this a transformation?
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
this something they really need that is a fair trade of monies for services?
Absolutely right. Yeah, and that's how we train salespeople all the time. It's you have to take a consultative approach, because if you don't, it can always bite you later, and it just ends up becoming a more your 3 T's. I don't really classify. I don't really know what I would say to each one of them, other than the last one. It's a relationship. It's a partnership. You're going to form a partnership with your customer, with your client. And if it's not a two-way street, it's probably going to be a dead end.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually listening to a podcast on the way up, John Barrows, and with Jeff Hoffman, and they were saying that I should be able to get what I want, you should be able to get what you want, and make sure that it's good fit for both of us. And that's what sales should be, because I should be able to get something out of it, and so should the person buying that from me. And if both of us don't get something out of it, then it's probably not worth doing.
Yeah. I used to tell salespeople it should be a mutually beneficial transaction,
Yeah.
right? Which means you're going to make money, but they're going to get something that they need or want to either make their life easier, better, faster, whatever that problem is that they're trying to solve. You better solve it, because that's the only way that partnership works, and it works properly.
So with all the sales background that you have, about a year ago you created this entity. So what was that conversation like? Hey, here's what we're saying. Here's what we need to create. What was your mission for this company?
Go ahead.
So Stephanie Creech is our other partner, and she was working for one of our clients at the time. And I used to walk in and talk to her, and I used to say, I don't understand these people. They don't know what marketing is. They don't know what sales is. They have no idea, and they're not listening, and they're not even bringing on the right type of people to do the type of work they need. We have to find a way to help small businesses solve this problem. And basically, that's kind of how it was born.
Yeah.
You know, the more we talk, as I am right now creating the videos that will be transcribed for my new book, Leader Be Led, I'm thinking I need to put a chapter in about the difference between marketing, sales, and closing, and being on the take, wanting a transaction, or providing a transformation. New chapter in the book.
There
There you go.
So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and so to add to that, because I agree 100%, but to add to that, then you start thinking of why they ended up where they ended up, and it's because a small business owner goes to Google and says, I need sales help, or I need marketing help, and then they look at these pages upon pages upon pages of what they're not even sure what they're looking at, which lends to them either hiring the wrong person and the idea of, well, I got references. Well, of course you got references, because who's going to give a bad reference? I'm not going to give you the name of somebody that's going to say something bad. Right. So everybody has good references. There's not a single professional out there that doesn't have good references, but that doesn't make the Google search any easier. And then we're like, well, we can go to LinkedIn and use the filters, find some professionals on LinkedIn that might help us. You run into the same kind of issue. So we basically took that theory and said, well, what if we made one location that all the sales and marketing professionals can be on, all the experts, all the sales and marketing experts can be on one platform. Then they can showcase what they do well and what they don't. And then we potentially could even be a buffer, saying, if you tell us what you're looking for, we may be able to point you in the right direction of which expert would be the right fit based on what we know from the industry, not just haphazardly looking at Google or LinkedIn.
Well, to your point, people don't really know what they need or want. So,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, people want to hire me to do sales, when in actuality, one of their biggest problems is, even if they're the best salesperson, even if they're the best closer, even if they've got the best product or service, people don't know they exist.
Yeah.
They're in obscurity. There's nobody to talk to anyway. So people are learning about closing and selling, but there's crickets chirping and there's nobody to talk to anyway. So
Right. And another thing too is it's about shopping local. We talk about retail and we talk about shopping local. Well, this is local. This is local Boston area, and it's finding local sales and marketing professionals that can help a local small business. So it's bringing it back to local. You don't have to outsource it or offshore it or find someone in California. You have so many people here that are so capable that you can actually meet in person,
Yeah.
as opposed to have a call. So
preach it, girl.
yes, it's my passion. Local.
So give me an example of a client, someone that you've worked with in the past year. What was going on with them when you met them, and what kind of transformation you helped them have?
From Marketing Connect's perspective, so that's kind of hard, and I say it's hard because the way that the organization works is small business owners. We have basically have a website. Anybody can go to it. It's marketingconnect.com, and if you go to that, any small business owner can go on there and find resources. A lot of them are free. We put a lot of new articles, how-tos, tools that you can go on there, understanding how to implement certain things or how to decide on a CRM or whatever. And these are all free. So from the small business owner's perspective, they can go on there and they don't need anybody's help if they are a DIY kind of person and they want to do it themselves. And then from the sales and marketing experts' perspective, we're kind of new to the point where I don't know how much we've helped them yet, because I think we're going to have very big impact as we move forward with it. But what I can tell you, there's a couple of things that kind of happen through almost a natural progression of things, which is as the Marketing Connect experts come on the scene and we get to learn who they are, we've been able to, from our own perspective of diversified sales solutions, add on partners to do bigger jobs than we would have gotten on our own. For example, again, we're not marketing people, we're both salespeople. So we've had situations, and we actually have a current situation right now where they needed a whole new website design, they needed sales enablement processes, and then sales on top of it. We certainly are not capable of doing the website or any of the rebranding stuff. So we took that client knowing that we could pull in partners from this Marketing Connect site in order to accomplish all those goals, and we just build them through ourselves. So that particular company is extremely happy right now because now they get an entire team. They get a marketing team, a development team, and sales professionals that can help them, close business.
So let me ask you, back to your point about how people Google themselves to death and they get so overwhelmed with information, and yeah, of course they're giving them a good referral. Who wouldn't? So when there is a company that's featured on your website, how do you vet those companies so that we know it's not just the typical, yeah, of course they're great, they're on our site?
So right now, the only vetting process, it's kind of a self-vetting process. So we're and it's going to sound kind of hypocritical or contradictory, I guess is more the term, because it's kind of a self-policing thing where we have a ranking system. So we're asking them to go out and have people rank them. Or if people have used them before and they can go on and rank them, kind of like an Angie's List or a Yelp or something to that effect. Now, that being said, if they get a negative review, we don't remove it. Whereas, to your point, if somebody asks me for references and I give them 2 names, I know that those 2 names are going to talk great about me. So that's really, and that's still the beginning stages of that. We just kind of launched that not a month ago maybe. So we don't have a lot of reviews on the site yet of those rankings, but our goal is to get those rankings to be the determining factor of how they position themselves on the site.
So is it for all local businesses, or do you have certain niches that you're really looking to feature and showcase and attract?
It's for all local sales and marketing experts. Anybody that's either a consultant, a trainer, their own agency, or one-ofs, or small probably agencies. Any of those agencies can be on the site and can participate. They can give us their blogs and their articles and things like that, so that we can promote those to our small businesses that we have.
From the small business perspective, it's anybody.
Yeah.
Any small business owner that thinks that they want or need sales or marketing help, they can go onto the site, and again, it's free to them. So if there's and there's a lot of information. There is a ton of marketing tips, sales tips that are very quick. You can read them very fast, and you may see something that goes, I was thinking I should do something like that, and it validates what you're trying to do. And even some of the tools, if you're trying to use them and you get stuck, you can reach out to us and we'll help you walk through them. So from a small business perspective, it doesn't matter what you do. If you need help in sales and marketing, we can help you. The other thing too is, we do a really good job, in my opinion anyway, of regurgitating information. Meaning, a lot of the sales and marketing experts already produce a lot of material. So when we take it and we put it back out, it's basically helping them in a multitude of ways. And again, from the sales and marketing professional perspective, individually, it's really hard. I don't know if you've ever tried to get yourself on the first page of Google. If somebody Googles a term that you use often, whether it's consulting or sales consulting or marketing process or
I know
whatever.
a lot of people that can promise to get you on the first page.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. If you're there's only 12, 15 responses on the first page, and if you're not a paid ad by Google, the likelihood of you getting on there is very, very low. For us, what we look at it from a perspective, we are stronger as a whole than we are as individuals, right? So Smarketing Connect, if you Google Smarketing right now, we'll pop up on the first page, which means every one of those professionals that are on our site with us, every one of those experts that are on our site with us are also on the first page of Google. And we're not paying for that. That's organic. So that's the other advantage. If their sales and marketing experts are choosing to come on our site with us, we're not promising it and not delivering. We're already there. We're already on Google's first page if you Google Smarketing.
What is it? Together we're bigger than small. I forget the. Takes a village, I guess.
Sure.
That's it. It takes a village. I was trying to go.
Takes a village to build a village.
That's right.
Yeah.
So who's a good contact? Who's a good client for you? So you've got your other business too while this one is growing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, if you could put the call out to anyone watching or listening, who are you looking to really connect with?
It's companies that have had challenges with pretty much anything in the sales, whether it be the process, the target, who they're reaching out to, if they need training or if they need any sort of CRM or any sort of tools, we can kind of help and come in and help in different areas. It doesn't have to be, let's just get a salesperson. Although we do take on salespeople, we will hire, fire, train, and maintain them for them, and we kind of hook ourselves onto a small company as their sales team.
So if somebody that sells carpet or plumbing or insurance, anybody like that comes to you, you can actually help them find a good salesperson. You can headhunt and then train that person, and there you go. There's a trained professional.
Yeah, we actually will own them and even manage them for them, because if you think of a tradesperson or a plumber, they're not going to know how to manage a salesperson. We are different, and so we can, like I said, we'll come in and we'll help manage that person, make sure they're doing what they should be doing to help grow their business.
Just last night I was at an event and I was talking about the E-Myth. You've read the E-Myth. I've read it, but the only part I remember about it is a woman who, in the book, is a pie maker, and she makes the best damn pie. Her pies are award-winning pies, and her friends and family, you make the best pie, you need to have a pie store. So she opens a pie store, and she doesn't know how to sell, or how to negotiate, or how to sign contracts for leases, or how to inventory, or any of that kind of stuff. So to your point, the plumber, who is a great plumber, is not in marketing, and he's not in sales. He needs to plumb and let somebody else sell it.
So
It's
I
like
just have to interject, though. My plumber just told me, don't give me any more business, because there isn't a lot of people that do plumbing nowadays, so they're very busy.
When we first started Diversified Sales Solutions, I used to tell people, do what you do best and outsource the rest.
Right.
If it's not a task that you're really, really good at, then don't do it, because you're just going to either create yourself more work, create yourself more headaches, make it longer and unnecessarily longer, just to have somebody who's really good at that take care of it for you.
Amen.
And it doesn't matter.
true.
Accounting, whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's do what you do best and outsource the rest.
So how did you both get so good at sales? Tell me some of the mentors or books or seminars. Like, what is your process for learning and getting so good at what you do?
I just mentioned, actually, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I do like a lot of reading on LinkedIn. I don't typically sit and read books nowadays because it's kind of hard to do that. I mean, obviously, I've done Dale Carnegie back in the day, and all different types of sales trainings through the different companies. So it's just quick bites nowadays because you can't even take in that much information anymore. So it's almost like the quick tip. It's, oh, should I try this? Maybe I'll try this, and it'll make it better. And it's learning by doing. And it's learning by, and I was listening to, again, the podcast today, and he was saying, John Barrow said, when we were a little kid, what do we do every day? We practice. We practice. We practice. We practice. But do we now practice what we do for a living? Which we don't. So if we're going to do things, we need to practice. Yeah. And it's not even about someone, role-playing with you. It's just practicing on your own and learning to do something different, or else you're never going to do it, even if you learn it.
Amen. It's interesting. People in sports will practice 90% of the time and play 10%
Exactly.
of the time.
Yeah.
But business is the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had that
Right.
exact conversation with my son not too long ago because he was
Yeah.
complaining about he was doing something that he's a little bit of a perfectionist in certain things, so he wanted to take it apart and do it again. And I said, "There's nothing wrong with that." I said, "Think of a football team. The Patriots will practice 4 or 5 days a week to play a 60-minute game. 60 minutes. That's it. So to your point, they practice 90% of the time to play that game for very, very minimal amount of time. But I actually, not that I disagree with you, but I still do read a bit of books and
He doesn't sleep, though.
yeah, that's true. I like the thing that I find weird about me is that I actually don't read a lot of sales books, which I find kind of interesting, kind of weird. But when I do read, like Jeff Olson's The Slight Edge, it's more of a self-help book. It's more like a self-motivational book.
Yep.
Because sometimes the hardest thing for salespeople to do is get out of their own way. So self-help books can help you kind of get in the mindset of, all right, I need to be this kind of person. I need to be this kind of driven. I need to be this kind of motivated. Because, you can sort of practice as you go, right? Like, as long as you're motivated to do it, you can even practice with current clients. We've had plenty of opportunity to sit in front of a current client. They're already doing business with us, and we go, "Can we try something on you real quick? Can we talk to you about a particular thing that we were trying to do a little left of center from what and so you can even play around with it, even with your, with people that current clients.
Yeah.
Role playing, I guess, but when we're talking about current clients, it's more like a soft sell, right? It's a warm call. You already have a great relationship with these people, so you can talk to them about, I'm trying to lean a little this way. What do you think? And give me your honest opinion. And most times they'll tell you your honest opinion. But for me, I don't know why, but I like self-help and motivational
Yeah,
books a
I
little
do
bit
too.
more
Yeah.
than straight sales books because and you can correct me or disagree with me or whatever, but my philosophy on sales is there is no such thing as one right way.
Right.
Whether you're talking about Sandler or Dale Carnegie or any other of the hundreds of the Challenger sales and all these hundreds of different books written about sales, for me, there isn't a right or wrong way to do sales. It's what matches your personality, what matches your motivational, drive, and the industry you're in sometimes dictates which type of sale you should be talking to your clients and how you should be acting with them. So,
Well,
it's-
1,000%. We're down to 30 seconds. So
Right.
I mean, I know that's a whole nother show for
Correct,
another whole
yeah,
day.
yeah. Right.
It's just like I say, a 30-second elevator pitch. There is no such thing.
Yeah.
One size does not fit
Fit
all.
all.
Absolutely
Everybody is
right.
a totally different conversation. Well, we could clearly talk about marketing and sales and closing and the difference all day long, but I just really am glad to have you guys on to be able to promote what you're doing and share you with our audience. So thank you for being on the Happiness Jungle.
Thank you
Thanks,
for having
Libby.
us.
Thank you.